This is Pretend Farmer Girl, and this is my first try at homemade sauerkraut. I've never even knew that you fermented cabbage to make sauerkraut. I just thought you bought it in the bag at the store and put it on your, Polish sausages. So anyway, I used my crock pot because I don't have a regular crock, and what I did is I put the lid on it. It has one layer of plastic wrap. Whew. I put a bag filled to keep the plate underneath the to keep the cabbage down and the brine up. So I'm going to pull this bag off. And here is the plastic wrap. I think I will get a new piece. I really have no idea what I'm doing, but I was nervous when I first started to make my own yogurt because I didn't know if I was going to die. And then I was nervous when I canned meat for the first time because I didn't know if I was going to die. In fact, when we ate it the first time, it was sitting on the counter for a few weeks. And I posted on Facebook, we're getting ready to eat our canned meat, so if we get sick, you'll know to take us to the hospital. So anyway, I'm going to take the plate off and then give it a taste. Okay. Nobody can see it, but my daughter has a frowny face on. Well, it's still a little crunchy. It isn't sour. It tastes a little sweet still, so it doesn't taste like sauerkraut yet. It still tastes like salty cabbage, and that's after a week. So I'm going to cover it back up and I'll be back in a week. This is Pretend Farmer Girl, and this is week 2 of my sauerkraut sitting on the counter. Now we've had an unusually long hot spell here, and it hasn't stayed nice and cool like they say it should, but my house doesn't smell like sauerkraut, so hopefully keeping the cabbage underneath the air will keep it from fermenting. So I'm going to taste it after 2 weeks, and then I'm probably going to go ahead and just put it in my jar and get it in the refrigerator. So here we go. I take the lid off. Here's just the top. This is just the top layer. This is the bag, and I see a little bit, a tiny bit of that white mold that they said that can sit on there. It smells a little bit more sour than last week. I saw some videos where they said if the mold is dark, you have to be concerned about it, but the white mold is normal. And this is just my bag of water that I have sitting on top of the plate. And then on top of the plate, I just had another saran wrap to just insulate around the edges, and I have no mold or no discoloration, so I'm going to take my plate off. It's funny how things change. I'm not entertaining with Princess House, I'm making sauerkraut with Princess House dishes. So it smells fine. It smells like sauerkraut, so I'm always nervous. I'm going to taste it. Oh brother, this is really good for you. I'm reminding myself. Okay. Well, I think it tastes like sauerkraut. I think it tastes good. Not a bad flavor at all. Just a little tangy. Alright, So I'm going to go ahead and put this in a jar, and I'll be right back. Okay, here it is. Here's the sauerkraut that I made. I really like it. Husband really likes it. So it is so good for you with all the good bacteria for your body and keeping you healthy, that our plan right now is to just have a scoop of it at dinner with every meal to start out. And I'm excited. This Pretend Farmer Girl signing out. This Pretend Farmer Girl, and I am making sauerkraut. Actually, I made it, and I'm going to work backwards and show you how I did it. This is a finished product. We're just having a little bit every day around dinner time for dinner, and because it's so good of all the probiotics when you make it just regular and you don't process it. So what I did is I cut up the cabbage for this sauerkraut, but I have other cabbage, but I just got back from the store and this was 50% off. So I have not made it where it's already pre-cut, but it was such a good deal I decided to get it. The thing that I read is that sometimes when you use it where it's pre-cut, it doesn't have as much liquid left in it, so sometimes you have to add extra brine. So the cool thing, the only thing you need is canning and pickling salt and cabbage. And I'm going to show you how I do it. This is 5 pounds of cabbage, and so for each pound of cabbage you need 1 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to show you how you do it, and here we go. I don't have a big enough bowl to put all 5 pounds of cabbage, so this is 2.5 pounds, and to this I'm going to add the salt, but I need to correct myself, it's 2 teaspoons per pound. So that's 1, 2 tablespoons, and about a teaspoon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this all up with my hands, and then I'm going to use one of the attachment to my Vitamix to pound it down, because that's how you get the liquid for the brine with the salt water, so you don't necessarily at this point add salt water. So I'm going to mix it up, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've just mixed it up, and as you can see right now, there is no liquid on the bottom. It's just the cabbage and the salt that I mixed together. Now I'm going to take my handy dandy Vitamix thing and start smashing. And just smash it down, and just keep doing it. The last time I did this, I did it actually in my crock pot, and I was afraid I was going to break it. So I won't torture you with this, but I'll be right back. Okay, so I just finished pounding, and as you can see, the liquid is coming through. Alright, so you can see the amount of water that's coming through. I used that to pound it down, and you can see how much it pounds down. So what I decided is, since I had already bought cabbage for sauerkraut, I decided that I would do 2.5 pounds of the bagged stuff that was already cut up, and then I'll do 2.5 pounds from the fresh cabbage that I have, and see if there's much difference in the liquid. So I'm pushing down pretty hard. That's a basic idea of how it's going. The other thing I wanted to tell you is I don't have a fermenting crock, so I do have a crock pot, and so I use this to make the other yogurt. And what I'm doing right now is I have water in there, and it's turned up to high just because I want to make sure that this doesn't come out, and so I just want to make sure that it's good and sterilized. So I will wait till this boils, and then I will dump the water out and let it cool down a bit, and then put the cabbage in. Okay, so I just finished pounding up the fresh cabbage that I just got. It does seem to have a lot more liquid right now. I'm not saying that the other didn't have enough, but this is definitely more wet, which would just probably mean that I don't have to add too much brine. So then I will come back over here where I took the other one out, and there is liquid in there. You can see it. So I guess I'm going to say there's a significant amount of liquid for both. I will say that this that was pre-packaged doesn't feel as crunchy when I push it down. This one does feel crunchier, probably because it's just been cut. Alright, so I put both batches in. So this is 5 pounds of cabbage in this regular size crock pot. So you can get a lot in there. So as you can see, it's definitely releasing a lot of its juices. So I'm not going to make any other brine. So let me show you. Obviously I read about how to do this or watched online. But the first thing I'm going to do is put a lid on here a plate to keep it flat. And I happen to have a Princess House plate that worked really good the last time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it so you can see that the brine comes over the top. So the biggest thing is you do not want the cabbage to be exposed to the air. You want the brine to be covering the entire thing. So push it down, have the brine all in there. The next part, so I take one piece of plastic, regular plastic, and I'm going to put it down to cover the edges. I think one of these times I'll try and see if I should just put it, on top of the cabbage before I put the brine down, but since I'm new at this, I'm just going to try it this way. So I'm just going to cover the edges with the saran wrap so that no air is going to get in there. Hopefully. Well, it didn't last time. Last time, basically, I really didn't have any bacteria growing on it. The next thing I'm going to do is I filled a bag up with water. And I'm going to put this down. And this is what helps to keep the plate down and the brine down underneath the water. So it came up a little bit. I'll probably put a plate under this because see how much of the brine has come out when I put this in. This is a double what I made the last time. So what I did the last time is after I put this on, I put another saran wrap on the top. Sorry, I bet you I'm moving this camera around a lot. And then I put the lid on. Just because you're really wanting to make an environment where the oxygen and all the bubbles can release out of here as it ferments. And then I just put the lid on top. So I think I'll just go ahead and leave the lid on top. Some of it is spilling out, but that's minor. So the last time I did this, I left it for 2 weeks, and I checked with my sauerkraut experts, and basically they thought it was good, but it could be a little bit more sour. So this time I'm going to let it sour for 3 weeks. And this is Pretend Farmer Girl signing out.